I noticed when I was driving up Sunset, they're reissuing Spartacus.
Yes.
That's probably what you want to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit. A little bit. And it's a little different this time around.
Yes, it is. When we did the picture, it was about 30 years ago. There were a number of key scenes that were taken out of the movie. I'm not quite sure what. I have a feeling they were frightened by it because it was the relationship of two men in a bathtub. Rub-a-dub-dub, two men in a tub.
Yeah.
It's the baby oil massage treatment.
I heard
and that's what made everybody very nervous.
Yeah.
So the scene was shot between Larry Olivier and I, but it never ended up in the film. And I always missed it because I felt it was a key scene that extended the relationship between these two men. And then with Spartacus, who was Kirk Douglas. So these three men were integral to each other. It was a triangle in an odd way. Antoninus, the character I played, is fascinated by Spartacus, the free man, the man that wants to be free. He's a poet, a writer. He teaches children. And he wants his own personal freedom. Against that triangle is Larry Olivier, the Roman general, who wants him physically. So it's really an interesting, triangle. And it was never, when it wasn't in the film, it had an effect on the movie. I felt. It didn't show it for what it really was. And so when I heard they were going to put the scene back in the movie, I was really pleased. There wasn't a soundtrack to it, ARSENIO. And Larry Olivier, unfortunately, is dead. And so I was wondering who would do his voice. And they told me that Anthony Hopkins, the gentleman in Silence of the Lambs, a really excellent English actor, did a perfect imitation of Larry Olivier. And so he does the dialogue for him, and I did the dialogue for myself. And the scene is back in the movie. It is an incredible film. I saw it last night. Isn't it wonderful to think that 30 years after the film, I'm going out selling the movie, or I'm around? I'm looking better than the movie.
And
I gotta tell you, when I was in New York City, an interviewer, a woman for NBC, came up to me and says, well, how does it feel? Do you think it holds up after 30 years? I said, well, you look 30 years old, and you look like you're holding up.
That's a good point.
Well, I was trying to be funny, but you got one.
But it's also a very good point.
Yeah, right.
30. Let's look at a clip that you brought.
Yeah, please.
Of this fine 30-year-old piece of film.
Yes, please. Not many of us can say they took a bath with Larry Olivier.
And not all of us really want to.
Really?
But you're right. That's something we all can't say. Didn't they have a contest back in those days to win Tony Curtis?
Yes, this was before, when I first started at Universal, about 1952. I think it was a motion picture magazine, Screen, whatever it was, had a contest, win Tony for a week. And the people wrote in, and some woman won me in Walla Walla, Washington. So I show up there, and I'm going to stay with her at her home and her family. And I noticed she was a little disappointed. I wasn't quite sure what it was. I figured she was a little shy. And then she told me the first night I was there, she said, I'm so thrilled to have you, and all of my friends are so happy you're here with me. But I had hoped I'd win the second prize. I said, well, I don't remember what the second prize is. She said it was a fridge. She wanted a new fridge. So I said, well, I was so deflated. I felt so bad that she didn't get the fridge and she got me instead. But I'm sure that somewhere in life somebody wanted me and somebody else wants a fridge. So I got her a fridge, which made it much easier.
That's nice.
Yes.
That's nice. Maybe first prize should have been a bath with Laurence Olivier. Thanks for stopping by. Spartacus is being reissued, and based on the marquee, I think it's out right now.
Yeah, it opened tonight, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I will be back with Tony. This is Tony.